133 days and counting now before the Milwaukee Public Museum's current home closes its doors ahead of the opening of its new location under a new name in spring. With a transition underway, there are people documenting the changeover, excited about it, but also concerned, as our Catherine Merck discovered when she went behind the scenes of this massive museum move in our Sunday morning spotlight.
A museum that documents our past becomes a part of history itself.
It's something that generations of Milwaukeeans have been experiencing.
At the Milwaukee County Historical Society,
All sorts of interesting things in here.
archivist Michael Barrera shows us parts of the Milwaukee Public Museum
Some of these go back to like the 30s or 40s.
in their own collection.
And it's really wonderful. We have so many photos, documenting exhibits, documenting panoramas that no longer exist, and in some cases, panoramas that will not survive the move to the new museum.
The Milwaukee Public Museum is planning a massive move to a brand new building. In order to understand its future, it's important to reflect on the past.
The museum has moved multiple times. We have always kept that spirit, though, of innovation and of immersion.
The Milwaukee Public Museum was first chartered in 1882. It's since moved twice, currently stationed on 800 Wells Street. After 6 decades here, there is visible wear and tear.
The building here doesn't have moisture barriers, so the collections items are at risk here.
Madeline Anderson, the director of communications, says the museum was at risk of losing its accreditation. In 2022, the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors approved the Milwaukee Public Museum's funding request for $45 million that would go toward its new museum project.
This building is owned by Milwaukee County, and we have about $100 million in deferred maintenance, and the county just doesn't have the funds to be able to fix up this building while continuing to maintain it annually and also pay for collections care.
The museum is currently in the process of packing collections items to bring over to the new location.
We have over 4 million objects and specimens here. We have from, the smallest little plant spores all the way to large pieces of sculpture. And you have to pack those things differently, you have to move them differently. So yeah, this was a monumental undertaking.
This includes fossils, taxidermy, and artifacts.
When you are moving objects, it is a time of danger for them. It can be, you can have breakage and things.
As the Milwaukee Public Museum prepares for a move, not everybody is on board.
We should be honoring our history and not destroying it.
It's come to the point where the nonprofit Preserve MKE has been created with a platform aiming to save the museum. Their online Facebook group has over 12,000 people. Scott Bush and Corey Houston spoke to us about its mission.
And it's just not being handled with the gravitas that we think it should be.
Some people are very upset that the streets of Old Milwaukee won't be the same anymore. The Milwaukee Public Museum does have plans for what they call a spiritual successor.
The new name of the streets is going to be Milwaukee Revealed, and it will be all about revealing unknown stories and unexpected facts about this city.
While the museum looks to the future, others remain focused on the past.
The European villages, the dioramas, that essentially is going to be a different museum than we have.
It's not just the streets that will change. The museum, known for Milwaukee-style dioramas, will be refreshed with new audio and visual elements. The current dioramas were created by Carl Ackley back in the 1880s.
The tricky part is that a lot of these dioramas, the backgrounds are painted actually onto the walls of this building. It would be impossible to remove them because they are built onto these giant curved walls in this building.
The museum describes the backgrounds and props in these dioramas like pieces in a play. You can see here there's leaves and trees and a painted background. They all support the actors, the stars of the show, these honey bears, and they're making their way to the new museum.
I think the public, rightfully so, doesn't understand that distinction. There will be a mix of backgrounds in the new museum, but they will certainly be created by artists and still feel very artistic.
Bush believes the current paintings are part of the history.
That would be a great loss to our community to lose all of this art.
The items on display in the new museum will be chosen off its new theme and new name.
The whole point of this new museum is to show the intersection and the interconnectedness of nature and culture.
Items that won't be repurposed, that aren't part of the city's collections, will go to other county-owned entities like the Milwaukee County Zoo or the Mitchell Park Domes. The remaining property will be sold in a public auction.
I know change is hard, but I think we should certainly embrace and be grateful that we are doing everything we can to preserve and improve this institution.
Despite these mixed feelings from the public, the Nature and Culture Museum of Wisconsin is expected to open this spring.
And I think it's a huge credit to the city of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County to have a museum of this caliber.
Back at the Milwaukee County Historical Society, what we know about the current museum will soon be documented here.
We have many, many photos of dioramas, most of which no longer exist.
It's an example of how even though the ways in which we preserve our world may transform, how you leave these spaces won't change.
It'll be generating its own history. You think about there are going to be generations of Milwaukeeans, kids who aren't even born today, who are going to grow up going to the new museum and hopefully loving it there and, developing their own sense of nostalgia.